नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। Last week class, somebody would like to recollect?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Should I try?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. We are back to Gopinath.
Can I try?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji, please try here.
Yeah, whatever I leave behind, you can take it up. Yeah. So this is in line with the Lord's body is transcendental. Further, we are discussing on Anuccheda 52. The main that Prabhuji quoted that sloka 5:19. Idam sariram mama durvibhavyam sattvam hime hridayam yatra dharmaha पृष्ठे कृतो मे यत् अधर्म आराधितो ही मां ऋषभं प्रभुर आर्यः. So in this my transcendental body, Rishabhadev says that is exactly like a human form, but it's not a human body. It's a transcendental and it is inconceivable. This is your Durvibhavyam. Durvibhavyam is mentioned here. It's inconceivable. Why it is inconceivable? Because it is I take on a body of my own sweet will. This body I take it, though it is transcendental and it's not created, it's not a materially created by anyone. I on my own will I take this body and come. And my heart also is spiritual. Prabhuji said, since this particular statement, my heart also is spiritual, it implies that he is a person with emotions. And his heart, where the dharma resides, where the dharma also, he expressed that dharma means devotional service, not restricted to only the religious principles, but also the devotional practices, devotional service. So, and from his behind, that is far from him, is the adharma, which meant for the which he abandons that, actually, that irreligion, that adharma. He doesn't accept that, and that irreligion doesn't. It's not. It doesn't impress him. He doesn't pay much attention to it. That irreligion, backside portion of that irreligion, and as people generally pray to Rishabhadev, and he is said to be as a Arya, Prabhur Arya. Arya Prabhuji said the best of the qualities. 1 minute. Yes, yeah. Arya means also is a very highly cultured person and best of the men. And his transcendental body, though it looks exactly like a human form, but it is not a sariram, the human form of the body, but it is inconceivable, and it is said that, and Prabhuji quoted that Sadhavo Hridayam Mayam, his heart is, the sadhus are residing in his heart, and he resides in sadhu's heart. And this human form of body is only for to to give a some kind of a for the atheist to chance to misinterpret. That is also, and he has to come in a he has to appear here in a form. So he takes a human form and come. And also the in order to satisfy the and his living also, his living is very appropriate, because it's not a death. By his living, he teached all the Atmaramas that what is the character they should have and what is the way to live the body. He set an example for his by his departure from this body. And he also he gave up the material body, and by giving up the material body, he has also liberated many souls. In the as he entered the forest fire, it is said that his body was burnt, but Prabhuji said his body burnt in the sense that there are two uh, the Gauna, that is a primary agent and secondary agent. He helped the fire. He becomes the he comes he associated with the fire, or he helped the fire to burn all the gross bodies, and he has burnt all the subtle bodies because he is empowered to do so. That is also proves that he is a supreme Lord empowered person. Of course, Prabhupada, when he was reading the purport, he said Rishabhadev was a Jiva Tattva, and the Lord uh, has entered him into full avesha and empowered him. So thereby he becomes as good as Lord. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I understood that he is a Jiva Tattva and the Lord empowered him in fully as good as Lord only. So he is taken as Lord himself because his body becomes transcendental. And then again he quoted that 5.6.8, and he was wandering about in the forest fire as the friction causes the fire, and the fire exists everywhere. The comparison is made here for forest fire with the Lord Rishabhadev's mercy, that Rishabhadev, he prevalent everywhere like a Paramatma, as the fire prevailed everywhere, and the friction caused the burning activity. Same way, the devotional service caused his devotees of the devotional service of the devotees caused the activities of the Rishabhadev. This comparison one. And the next comparison made The Lord also present everywhere, and fire caused. The second is that the fire the, burnt the gross bodies. Same way, Rishabhadev burnt all the subtle bodies, and the fire disappeared after burning all the trees. Same way, Rishabhadev also disappeared from this world, and his disappearance is never to be considered as a material. Even the title of the third chapter mentioned that the disappearance of Lord Rishabhadev is not mentioned as a death of a Rishabhadev. That's how, and further into it, that 5 point and the especially the Tena Saha, the word that are in the instrumental case, because the as he has supported the fire to burn away all the this thing, he is a secondary. Yeah, that is a some nyaya he said, especially I wrote it down. Mukhya Gauna Mukhya Nyaya, something like that. Yeah. So that's how the his disappearance is not to be considered as a ordinary death of a ordinary person. That's how his body is body transcendental. And again, the quoting of Ramachandra, that 9/11/22, that uh, that Lord Ramachandra returned to his abode, and the bhaktas and yogis, those who are there are also promoted to the higher planets, or the liberated. They were also liberated. So here the they the all the inhabitants of Ayodhya, they served the Lord in this manifest pastimes by offering obeisances and touching his lotus feet, fully observing as a father-like king, and sitting and lying down with him as equals. So this is the proof that how Ramachandra was very affectionate to his bhaktas, and how he liberated all the inhabitants, and also uh, the Ramachandra pastimes also disappearance only. Yes, there is no. So the basic proof is that the transcendental body of the Lord, whenever that the Avirbhav takes place in this world, it doesn't die, it doesn't merge with the pancha tattvas, the earth, water, fire, ether, and air. It doesn't merge, but it vanishes, it disappears. Why? Because it is not made of any of the five tattvas. It is Sachidananda Vigraha. Sat will be, Chit will be Sat, Chit and Ananda will be automatically not part of this, though it is not part of this material gross elements. So it will, the disappearance we cannot see. That's how they are disappeared. And also, as the title, it is said that the Lord is disappeared. And again, that is with the 52. And there are many points he quoted, but I could not repeat it back due to various conditioning. This is anuccheda 53, that the empowered incarnation, Rishabhadev, had a spiritual body, and is the, of course, there are two the what do you call contradiction, or the objection he has put, very important one. The objection number one is that, and he is quoting the my body is inconceivable and cannot be perceived by senses and logic, and followed the path of he has followed the path of Avaduta, and he has explained very nicely about Avaduta, especially that how that Madhvacharya, Vallabhacharya quotes, is the person, Avaduta, who is completely devoid of the bodily needs, and who doesn't associate with the women. and who appreciates like a inert matter. He behaves like a inert. Whatever comes in his way, he accepts. Ajagrata vritti. That's what he said. Ajagrata vritti is like a python. He lies down and whatever comes in his way, he accepts and he rejects, which is he doesn't go for it, which is not doesn't come to him. That is a and he says that unless one is fully absorbed and he is also naked, he doesn't wear any dress. Prabhuji said that can happen only if the person is fully 100% absorbed in the Krishna consciousness or in the any of the form activities of the Lord or anything. Only then that is possible. For ordinary person, it is not possible. So that is what it is that matters. That's a very avaduta. He lived like avaduta and he left. Thereby, he is setting a standard for people to understand how to leave the body in the last stage. And also, there is a he mentioned the two comparisons we have defined, and the text again will go for that objection. One is that the he is like a and also he is like a avaduta. The avaduta, the hamsa. He best. There are four varieties of avadutas he mentioned. One is that best. The best one is that hamsa and should not possess anything not associated with woman, and whatever comes in his way he accepts that. And also that is a kutakachala, that is a jungle in which he went inside and merged himself with the fire and he disappeared. That in text in anuccheda 53 he quotes that 1941 where that uh, jagatam atma, that is the supremely exalted position of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna is described the following statement of Bhishmadev to Lord Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam. That is in the Rajasuya Yajna, where the all great celebrities, great people, the highly exalted Gyanis and Rishis were there, and Sri Krishna was worshipped by one and all as the most exalted personality of Godhead. And he says that this happened in my presence. And I remember the incident in order to keep my mind upon the Lord. So where he was, that is also a proof by the Bhishmadev that the Lord's body, Lord is Supreme Godhead himself. He is not an ordinary person. So Sridhara Goswami comments in that in the verse Bhishma says that Lord Krishna, who is the soul, Atma of all the universes, was personally present before my eyes. Mama Drishi Gocharaha. How fortunate I am. This is how Bhishmadev was explaining in Anuched. That is what the Jiva Goswami explained. How Lord Bhishmadev, the exalted person, says that is also one more proof that the Lord is not an ordinary human being, because he is being worshipped by all the great personalities of the universe. So he by default he had to be something extraordinary from the other human beings. So he is naturally a Godhead himself with a transcendental body. Thank you, Prabhuji. Please accept my omission and commission. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Krishna Bihari Prabhu. Really went into minute details of both the anuchedas, especially going through the subtle points, the different highlighting the different words in each of these anuchedas, the verses which are described in these anuchedas. Very good, actually. Very good.
The inspiration comes from Mataji, because she had been giving almost every week. So I said, I snatched it from her hand and give some remembrance of the Anuchedas. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Krishna Bihari Prabhu. So we will go to the next anucheda. That is 54th Anucheda. Tataiva cha rupam yattat. Bhagavatam 10.3.24. Ityadau Sattvam Sakshat Vishnur Adhyatma iti. So in 10.3.24, when Krishna is born and Krishna has appeared, Devaki starts offering prayers. The first shloka, which is Devaki is offering prayers, that verse is quoted. Yattat kimapi rupam vastu prahur vedaha. Kim tad vastu? Tatra aha avyaktam ityadi. Evam bhutam kimapi karyakalpam vastu yat sayeva sakshad akshigocharastvam Vishnuriti. So tataiva cha rupam yattat. The similar way, I'll read the translation. Tata eva. Similarly, Devaki also says in her prayers to Krishna. The Vedas speak of some form which is you, Vishnu himself, the flame of the spiritual truth. So I'll read the entire shloka, Bhagavatam shloka, 10.3.24. Rupam yattat prakuravyaktamadhyam Brahma Jyotir Nirgunam Nirvikaram Satta Matram Nirvishesham Niriham Sattvam Sakshad Vishnuradhyatmadipaha. So this verse is quoted here. Some of the words from the verses are quoted. The beginning line and the last line. We'll go through that shloka. And then Sridhar Swami's comment on this shloka. Sridhar Swami's comment. Yattat kimapi rupam vastu prahur vedaha. Kim tad vastu? What is that vastu? Avyaktam ityadi. Evam bhutam kimapi karyakalpam vastu yat sayeva sakshad akshigocharastvam Vishnuriti. The Vedas speak of some form, namely some entity. What is that entity? That entity is called as avyakta, unmanifest. Whatever it is, that entity which appears as though it is an effect, but yet it is directly perceived by me, that entity is you, Vishnu himself. That entity is you, Vishnu himself. So then Jiva Goswami quotes a verse from the Padma Purana. Tatacha Padme Nirmana Kande Shri Bhagavantam Prati Shri Vedavyasa Vakyam. In the Padma Purana, Nirmana Kanda is a particular section in Padma Purana. Vedavyasa is speaking the following shloka to Bhagavan. So the Lord appeared in the mind of Vedavyasa. At that time, Vedavyasa is speaking this shloka. Tvamaham drashtumichhami chakshurbyam madhusudana yattat satyam param brahma jagadyonim jagatpatim vadanti veda shirasas chakshusham nata mestu tat. What is the meaning? Tvam aham drashtum ichhami chakshurbyam. I desire to see your form. I wish to see you with my eyes. Veda shirasa. Shirasa means the head. Veda shirasa means the head of the Vedas. What is considered to be the head of the Vedas? Upanishads. Upanishads are considered to be the head of the Vedas, or the conclusion of the Vedas. So the Upanishads describe you as the truth, the supreme Brahman, the source and master of the universe. O Lord, let that form become visible to my sight. So Vedavyasa, in his mind, the Lord appeared. Vedavyasa is praying that, may that form become visible to my sight. Then further Jiva Goswami gives a comment. Tatra hetuhu adhyatma deepaha dehi tat karana karya sanga prakashakatvena avabhasamana ityartaha evam bhutasya na tava bhaya shanka iti bhavaha ityesha prakarananurupah Shri Swami Darshita Bhavartopi Shri Vigraha Parayeva Anyatra Bayasambhavana Anupapattehe Shri Devaki Shri Bhagavantam. What is the translation? The reason why Devaki says that the Lord is unmanifest, Avyakta, at the same time Sakshat, it appears directly before her, is that he is the flame of the spiritual truth, Adhyatma Deepa. Meaning that he exists as the illuminator of the embodied being, the entirety of all the bodies of the senses. Sridhar Swami says, the import of Devaki's statement is that because he is such, therefore he has nothing to fear. This interpretation, based on the context, specifically relates to the Lord's form, for otherwise there could have been no question of fear arising. So, Jiva Goswami's words are very crisp actually. This verse actually continues in the same theme about the nature of the Lord's form being transcendental, quoting from the Devaki's prayer. I'll go through the commentary. It will become more clear, I hope. So in the previous Anucheda, we discussed Bhishma Dev's opinion. One is one of the 12 Mahajans. So after describing Bhishma Dev's opinion, glorification of Krishna's form, how Krishna's form was held in high esteem by the renounced sages and also by the great kings. Now Jiva Goswami in this Anujeda, she is reciting the prayers offered by Devaki, the first prayer, immediately after Krishna's appearance in this world. So when Krishna appeared, Devaki and Vasudev feared that as soon as Kamsa comes to know that Kamsa would murder the child. But then Devaki also noticed that the child displayed the symptoms which are found in the Supreme Lord. When she noticed those symptoms, she abandoned her fear. She became free from fear. And therefore, Devaki offered these prayers. So in this verse, she is establishing that her son is none other than Vishnu, who has a transcendental body. Again, recite that shloka. Rupam yattat prahuravyaktamadyam Brahma Jyotir Nirgunam Nirvikaram Satta Matram Nirvishesham Niriham Sattvam Sakshad Vishnuradhyatma Deepaha. The translation, Vedas say that this form is Avyaktam, unmanifest, Adyam, original, and it is Brahman, and it is Jyoti, self-luminous, And Ettat Jyotir Nirgunam, it is beyond the material qualities. Nirvikaram, without any transformation. Satta Matram, pure existence. And Nirvishesham, without any attributes. And Niriham, and without any action. And then finally she says, the last line, Satvam Satvam Sakshad Vishnur Adhyatma Deepaha. It is you, Vishnu himself, which is the flame of the spiritual truth, Adhyatma Deepa. And Sridhar Swami's explanation in the Bhavartha Deepika is quoted. So the Devaki says that the form of Vishnu before her is the same reality described in the Vedas. So here we see the verses Rupam Yattat Prahuhu. Prahuhu means said, or it is said. It is said by whom, or it is said where? It is said in the Vedas. Vedas say that the Vedas have to be done adhyahara. Adhyahara means that word has to be added. Yattat prahuhu. Prabhupada's word-to-word translation for the word prahuhu. You are sometimes called. Or the Vedas say this form is the unmanifest. So how do the Vedas describe this form? Avyakta, unmanifest. At the same time, Adya, it is the original cause. So in this verse, when we see the different words used by Devaki, by that the opinion of the different philosophers are refuted. So according to certain logicians, they say that the atoms are unmanifest, atoms cannot be perceived. You cannot perceive the atoms. At the same time, the atoms are the cause of the universe. Because of the combination of the atoms, the universe was created. So they say that the atoms are the cause of the universe. So because Devahuti atom has these two qualities, Avyakta and Adyam. Is it that Devaki is referring to the atoms here? Avyaktam and Adyam, that atoms are the, is it that Devaki is describing about the atoms which is the cause of the universe? No, Devaki says no. I am not describing about the atom. Because atoms are Avyakta and Adyam, but the atoms don't have the quality of Brahma. Brahma means Brihatvat, immense. Atoms are not immense. Atoms don't have the quality of Brahma. So then one may say, oh, perhaps Devaki is actually describing about the Pradhana. Because Pradhana is Avyakta, unmanifest. And Pradhana is also Adya because all the material elements, they start from the Pradhana. They all come from the Pradhana. And Pradhana is Brahma. Pradhana is massive. Krishna also in the Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter, he is using the word Brahma to refer to the Pradhana. Mama yonir mahad Brahma tasmin garbam dadamyakam tambava sarvabhutanam tato bhavati bharata. In this verse, 14.3, Mama yonir mahad Brahma, the word Brahma refers to Pradhana. The total material existence called Brahman, Mama yoni, it is my own womb. Tasmin garbam dadamyaham. Into that womb, I sow the seed of the living entities. And from that womb only, all the living entities proceed. So is the Devaki talking about the Pradhana here, which is having the quality of Abhyakta, Adya and Brahma? And according to the Sankhya philosophers, they say that Pradhana or Prakriti, both refer to the same. Pradhana or Prakriti is the cause of the universe. So then that is why Devaki uses the next word. That is Jyoti. Jyoti means self-luminous. So self-luminous, it also means, Sridhar Swami says that Jyoti means it is conscious. But in the case of Pradhana, Pradhana does not have this attribute of being conscious. Pradhana is inert. But Devaki is Devaki, sorry, by mistake I'm using the word Devahuti. But Devaki is using the word Jyoti. That means it is conscious. Therefore, Devaki cannot be referring to the Pradhana, which was the opinion of the Sankhya philosophers. Then there are other philosophers called as the Vaisheshika school. So, in the Vaisheshika school, they consider the Atma conscious, but merely because of the contact with the knowledge present in the material gunas. They say the Atma is conscious because of the contact with the knowledge present in the material gunas. So maybe Devaki is talking about the idea of the Ishvara mentioned in the Vaisheshika school. Like that one may propose. But then Devaki uses the next word as Nirguna, free from the material gunas. But in the Vaisheshika school, the Atma is conscious due to contact with the knowledge present in the material gunas. But here, Devaki is using the word Nirguna. So this is therefore Devaki is not talking about the Ishvara mentioned in the Vaisheshika school. Then one may say that probably Devaki is speaking about the Atma described by the Mimamsaka school. According to the Mimamsaka school, they consider the Atma to undergo a transformation through the Jnana. But then Devaki negates this possibility by using the word Nirvikara. The Lord Swam undergoes no Vikara, no transformation. Then perhaps one may say that Devaki is talking about the view of the Pushkaraksha school, followers of Pushkaraksha. I also don't know in detail what is the school. So according to the followers of Pushkaraksha, they consider it, the Atma, as empowered by Maya's power of projecting the world appearance. This is from the Atma of the followers of Pushkaraksha, who consider it empowered by Maya's power of projecting the world appearance. So according to Pushkaraksha school, that because of the Maya's Vikshepa Shakti, Atma gets empowered. But this viewpoint is also refuted by Devaki, because Devaki is using the word Satta Matra, pure existence. Satta means existence, Matra, pure existence, and does not depend on anything else. So therefore, Krishna's form remains eternally the same. So perhaps then it is Samanya, meaning that the Lord's form has divisions of proximity and remoteness, as described by the Nayayikas. It is Samanya, meaning that the Lord's form has division. Perhaps one may say that these are little difficult concept, but how much ever you can understand, it is all right. Some other things I also need to not very clear. Perhaps then it is Samanya, meaning that the Lord's form has divisions of proximity and remoteness, as described by the Nyaya school, Nayayikas. So to this, Devaki replies, the Lord's form is nirvishesha, it is without any divisions. And if the Lord's form is the cause of everything, then it must undergo some change while producing effects. But Mother Devaki says that it is niriha, inactive. The Lord is exactly like a magnet that moves a piece of iron but remains still. The Lord is exactly like a magnet that moves a piece of iron but remains still. So, generally in this world, when something is the cause of something, that when something is the cause of some entity while producing effects, that particular cause also undergoes a change. Suppose a mother gives birth to a child. Mother also undergoes certain change in her body. So when something is the cause, when suppose a seed is the cause of the tree, and the seed also undergoes the change while producing the effect in the form of the tree. So one may say that if the Lord's form is the cause of everything, that it must also undergo some change. But then Devaki is using the word niriha, inactive. So the Lord produces the effects without undergoing the change. So finally, then Devaki says, you are sakshat, directly perceivable. You are directly perceivable. So it is not that the Lord is inferred by observing an effect. It's not that the Lord is inferred by observing an effect. As one may infer fire upon seeing smoke in the distance. The Lord is inferred by sometimes, like for example, in Anumana Pramana, a person is going near the mountain. In the top of the mountain, one sees a smoke. And by seeing the smoke, one is inferring there is a fire in the mountain. He is not directly perceiving the fire, but he is inferring the presence of the fire by seeing the smoke. So similarly, one may say that maybe Devaki is giving an inference about the nature of the Lord. No, that is not, that's incorrect, because Devaki is using the word sakshat. She says that Sattvam Sakshad Vishnur. That means Devaki is directly perceiving. That means everything is illuminated by his radiance. Moreover, the Lord is Adhyatma Deepa, Sakshad Vishnur Adhyatma Deepa. Mundak Upanishad says that Yasya Bhasa Sarvamidam Vibhati. That the import is that he is the controller of everyone's senses, mind, and body. So therefore, there was no reason to fear Kamsa. Is the controller of everyone's senses, mind, and body. There was no reason to fear Kamsa. So Devaki, because she is describing Krishna's form minutely, that means she noticed the characteristics of the Supreme Lord, and by understanding that, she becomes freed from fear. That Kamsa cannot harm her. So this verse explains how the Lord's form is completely transcendental. It is beyond the conception of the Nayayikas, Mimamsakas, Sankhya school, and different other logicians. So the verse exclusively describes the body of the Lord and not the various absolute realities imagined by these schools of philosophers. So every word is very important. And Sridhar Swami particularly draws attention to the form of the Lord, because since it comes in the context of the Krishna's birth. So, because this verse is spoken at the appearance of Krishna's birth, therefore it is describing about the form of the Lord, not about the impersonal absolute truth. There is no question of someone's taking birth without having a form. And then Jiva Goswami quotes a verse from the Padma Purana. So Vyasadeva was undergoing penances to please the Lord. And then after a long time, Krishna appeared in the mind of Vyasa and he offered a boon to Vyasa. And Vyasa desired to see the form of the Lord with his own eyes. And in that connection, Vyasa is describing the Lord as Satyam Param Brahma, mentioned in the Upanishads. You see the shloka? Yattat Satyam Param Brahma Jagadyonim Jagatpatim Vadanti Veda Shirasa. Veda Shirasa means Upanishads. Chakshusham Nata Mestutat. So, Satyam Param Brahma, these words used by Vyasadeva, this is also consistent with the similar words used by Devaki, Satta Matram, Avyaktam and Nirvishesham. So, these attributes of Brahman are commonly referred to in the Upanishads. However, they apply specifically to the forms experienced by Mother Devaki and Srila Vyasa. So, when the Upanishads also talk about these attributes of Brahman, Avyaktam, Satyam, Param, Brahma, but the same attributes are especially referred by Devaki in connection with the form of Krishna, and same attributes are referred by Vedavyasa in relation to the form of Krishna. Therefore, it is established without doubt that Krishna's body is self-luminous and transcendental to the gunas of nature. So, it is the absolute reality and reconciles all the apparently contradictory statements of the Vedas. Now, in the next Anucheda, Jiva Goswami will establish that even the expansions of Krishna, they have the same qualities as him. So, he is going to refer to a verse from the Brahma Vimohan Leela, 10th canto, 14th chapter, 13th chapter. So, before I go to the next Anucheda, do you have any questions on this Anucheda? Essentially, this particular shloka.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhuji, is it that Devaki was, how could Devaki was, when the Krishna got exchanged, the Durga from Gokul, she was unconscious after the delivery, or she could see the Krishna before falling unconscious, or her subtle body she could visualize Krishna. How did she see the Vishnu form?
Yeah, Krishna showed the Vishnu form, no? Directly verses in the Bhagavatam. The Krishna showed the Vishnu form and he told Devaki and Vasudeva that you are Prishni and Sutapa, you performed austerities to get me as a son, and then you later appeared as Aditi and Kashyapa. Now you have appeared as Vasudeva and Devaki. Krishna directly showed the Vishnu form, the 400 form. Krishna reminded them about how they had performed austerities, how they were Prishni and Sutapa. Then after that,
She became unconscious, right?
after that she becomes unconscious, and then Krishna tells Vasudeva to go and take him to Gokul Mahavan and take the child of her.
And
Yashoda and bring back here. Bring it here.
Prabhupada also says that this is because of Yoga Maya's activity that she could perceive Krishna. They both, the Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva and Devaki could perceive Krishna because of Yoga Maya, right?
Hmm. Yes, definitely. No, definitely not. It's not because of Mahamaya.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Hmm. Okay, we'll go to the next anucheda. We'll take some part. We will not be able to complete it. The next anucheda, atahas tad amshanam api tadrishatvam aha. So even the Krishna's amshas, they also have the same nature as the Krishna's form. So 10.13.54. Satyajnana anand Satya Jnananantananda Matraika Rasamurtayah Asprushta Bhuri Mahatmya Apik Upanishad Drisham. This is a verse from 10.13.54. So we see the similar words are used. Satya, Jnana, Ananta, Ananda. These words are used. The Vishnu forms were embodiments of the one absolute essence, Satya, constituted of unalloyed being, consciousness, and infinite bliss alone. And their infinite glory was certainly untouched even by those blessed with the vision of the Upanishads. This is an important word actually. Asprishta Bhuri Mahatmya Api Upanishad Drisham. These even Upanishad Drisham, those people who are even well versed with the Upanishads, even Asprishta Bhuri Mahatmya, even they could not realize the greatness of this Vishnu forms. Asprishta Bhuri Mahatmya Api Upanishad Drisham. Their infinite glory was certainly untouched, even by those blessed with the vision of the Upanishads. Sridhar Swami comments. Sarvesham Murtimatve Avisheshamaha Satya Jnana iti. Sarvesham Murtimatve Avisheshamaha Satya Jnana iti. Satyascha Jnana Rupascha Anantascha Ananda Rupascha. Tatrapi Tadeka Matra Vijatiya Sambheda Rahitaha. Tatrapi cha Eka Rasaha Sadaika Rupa Murtayo Yesham te. Sarvesham Murtimatvepi Avisheshamaga Satya Jnana iti. So Brahmaji, in the context of the pastime, so Brahmaji is trying to examine after stealing the cows and cowherd boys. He comes after one moment, but he saw that Krishna is playing with the cowherd boys. So then again he goes to check whether the cows and cowherd boys are intact, and he saw those cows and cowherd boys are present in the cave. Again he comes back,